right, all right, all right. All right, all right, all right. All right, all right, all right. Blessings, Wayfarers. Give me a second to get everything organized. I'm just kind of coming off of a nice little high with chats from Jack over there. Jack Talcott, guys, check him out. If you haven't heard about Jack Talcott, why don't you give it a chance, right? Go over there and say hello. Make sure you let him know that Frank Monday sent you. It seems that my cue list is off a little bit. It says that my most recently watched videos were how to draw like Leonardo da Vinci and how to journal like da Vinci. So I guess I was looking at other things prior to tuning in to Chats with Jack. Yeah, we're just coming off of that good wave of wonderful progressive energy that we were experiencing over there. Jack summarized it really good. He said that we had intelligent, thoughtful conversations, reacting to each other. I'm checking it right now to see if it's still live. Welcome back, Wayfarer. I hope you're doing well. I'm gonna go ahead and get this party started in the right direction with a moment of prayer. I want to hear my finishing statement here. Yeah, it was a good little finish. The idea was helping Jack Talcott do better and shine more. I think we achieved that. It was me and Melanie Cosmic Fox. Snafu's Dami Mommy. I just noticed that subtitle there. I hadn't seen that before. So yeah, good magic, Melanie. Good to see you over there. I appreciate the interlocution. Some of your ideas were a little bit confusing to me in that I don't know exactly like the overall thrust of your direction, but yeah, I was there for it, tuning in, and I think it was good magic all in all.
We'll get to know each other more, and maybe I'll disagree with you on something.
And I think that's important what you said there right at the end, right? Let's get to know each other more so that we can have these kinds of fruitful conversations and fellowship that bring about better ideas somehow, right? Because there's a lot of static out there. I had a nightmare the other day, and I mentioned this on Chats with Jack a couple of days ago, where the message was clear and vibrant and resonant. High level of divine energy coming through, but there was so much static around it. And, I even said Jack's face appeared to me illuminated with divine light. And he was very earnest in trying to give the message, but the static was preventing it from being heard. Right? The looping patterns of, for lack of a better moniker, minions of Team Evil.
So far, it's yet to happen, so I think that's funny.
I wonder if I can hear this on my microphone.
Melanie, thank you very much.
Have a good
Blessings, Melanie. Frank?
Yeah, I could be far more concise and forthright with my summation. I just think we need to consider, right, the historic narrative and what are the fruits of where these patterns of thinking are leading us. Are we truly benefiting people? If so, I think we move forward. And if not, then we just need to adjust course. And I believe it was Alan Watts that popularized the analogy of the archer. When the archer is shooting at the target, when he misses the target, misses the bullseye, he doesn't go over and move the target. He adjusts himself. And so that harkens back to Melanie's idea of the locus of control. And Jack, I'd say day in and day out, you're hitting the bullseye 90% of the time. So much love, beloved, and have a great day, man. Thanks for having us on.
Hey, much respect, sincerely. I truly, truly appreciate that. I hope folks I hope all of you who tuned in, whether not live and now or later, I hope you enjoyed these ideas too, because the topic initially was generically about kind of selfish for Jack. How are we going to help Jack do better? How are we going to help Jack shine more? And I actually think today was part of that. We actually have conversations with civil conversations with actual intelligent thought, considering and replying and considering and responding. And this is how education grows. It grows within us. It grows around us, brothers and sisters. The path for us all.
There it is there.
The path for us all. It is here and now. And here and now, the path will be revealed. It'll be revealed through the truth. It'll be revealed through love. And if we stay aligned with love, we can stay aligned with the truth. And the truth, the path shows itself. I think I'm just kind of confusing things.
Yeah, I don't think so. You were dialed in. You were letting us know what you thought about it and the ideas that were discussed. I think it was good magic, man. I don't know if any of you caught it and you were out there in Happy Land, right? You had the opportunity to tune in and watch the show. Like I said, I'm fully on vacation now for approximately 4 weeks, or exactly 4 weeks. So roughly 28 days. I thought I had 6 weeks for some reason due to the Chinese New Year, but it looks like we're going to be going back to school mid Chinese New Year. Let's see what we've got on the notifications here. So the question I ask myself every morning at 7:56 a.m., this is right before I start my typical work day, is what good can I do today? And I borrowed this admittedly from Benjamin Franklin, one of the great forefathers of the American experiment. And so today, I think there's a lot of good I can get done. Typically, I wouldn't be streaming and I would sit down and be contemplative about it, right? So I think one thing I can do is review my interactions online with Chats with Jack and have a little bit of deeper inquiry to see where I went right and where I went wrong, right? The analogy of the archer that I used there at the end with Alan Watts about aligning oneself with truth and with deeper meaning and trying to hit the bullseye, essentially. Yeah. The archer is poised and takes aim, pulls back the bow, and lets the arrow fly. And if he or she, all right, hits above center, left of center, whatever it may be, if they're not hitting center, then they do something to adjust their accuracy and aim within themselves. As I had stated, you don't run over there and move the target. That's not going to be a worthwhile endeavor. You just grab another arrow and take aim again, and then adjust your process. It's a very simplistic analogy, but it strikes at the nature of the thing, and I think is somehow useful for the average everyday individual. Let's go ahead and launch into this with the Bornless Ritual by Israel Regardi, a really good one. Listen to the words carefully, Wayfarer. Take some deep breaths and command yourself to relax. Examine what's being said. If you don't know this one, it's a really good one, and I think you're going to enjoy it.
Thee I invoke, the Bornless One, Thee that didst create the earth and the heavens, Thee that didst create the night and the day, Thee that didst create the darkness and the light. Thou art Asa or Nepha, whom no man hath seen at any time. Thou art Earbes. Thou art Ear, Apophras Ra. Thou hast distinguished between the just and the unjust. Thou didst make the female and the male. Thou didst produce the seeds and the fruit. Thou didst form men to love one another and to hate one another. I am Anchaf thy prophet, unto whom thou didst commit thy mysteries, the ceremonies of Hem. Thou didst produce the moist and the dry, and that which nourisheth all created life. Hear thou me, for I am the angel of Ptah, Apophras Ra. This is thy true name, handed down to the prophets of Hem. Hear me. Arain, Theof, Rai, Bet, Artheli, Berset, Arbelatham, Arbeu, Ebeu, Phi Theta So A, Ebe, Theaof. Hear me, and make all spirits subject unto me, so that every spirit of the firmament and of the ether, upon the earth and under the earth, on dry land and in the water, of whirling air and of rushing fire, and every spell and scourge of God may be obedient unto me. I invoke thee, the terrible and invisible God, who dwellest in the void place of the Spirit. Aro, go, go, Abrao, so thou, Mudorio, Phalathao, Pay the bornless one. Hear me, and make all spirits subject unto me, so that every spirit of the firmament and of the ether, upon the earth and under the earth, on dry land and in the water, of whirling air and of a rushing fire, and every spell and scourge of God may be obedient unto me. Hear me, Ru Abraeof, Mario Dom, Babylon Balbin Abaft, Asalonai, Arphen Eof, E Photeth, Abrasax, Raoo, Ishure, mighty and bornless one. Hear me, and make all spirits subject unto me, so that every spirit of the firmament and of the ether, upon the earth and under the earth, on dry land and in the water, of whirling air and of rushing fire, and every spell and scourge of God may be obedient unto me. I invoke thee, Mabara'eo, Eoel, Kotham, Arthori Balo, Abraph. Hear me, and make all spirits subject unto me, so that every spirit of the firmament and of the ether, upon the earth and under the earth, on dry land and in the water, of whirling air and of a rushing fire, and every spell and scourge of God may be obedient unto me. Hear me. Aftam, Abaftam, Basom, Isaac, Sabaoth. This is the Lord of the gods, This is the Lord of the universe. This is he whom the winds fear. This is he who, having made voice by his commandment, is Lord of all things, King, ruler, and helper. Hear me, and make all spirits subject unto me, so that every spirit of the firmament and of the ether, upon the earth and under the earth, on dry land and in the water, of whirling air and of rushing fire, and every spell and scourge of God may be obedient unto me. Hear me. E-A-O-U, Pe-U-Re, E-O-U, Pe-U-Re, E-Aft, E-R-A-O, E-O-O-U, Abrasax, Sabriam, O-O, Oph, Oph, Adonai, Ade, Adu, Angelos ton Theon, and Lala Lai Ga-E-R. I-Pe, Diathana Thoron. I am he, the bornless spirit, having sight in the feet, strong, and the immortal fire. I am he, the truth. I am he who hate, that evil should be wrought in the world. I am he that lighteneth and thundereth. I am he from whom is the shower of the life of earth. I am he whose mouth ever flameth. I am he, the begetter and manifester unto the light. I am he, the grace of the worlds. The heart girt with a serpent is my name. Come thou forth and follow me, and make all spirits subject unto me, so that every spirit of the firmament and of the ether, upon the earth and under the earth, on dry land and in the water, of whirling air and of rushing fire, and every spell and scourge of God may be obedient unto me. E-R-O, Saba-O. Such are the words.
So it is commanded and confirmed. So mote it be. Amen. All right. Welcome back, Wayfarer. Frank Monday coming at you once again like Finnegan, live from the Central Kingdom of the Celestial Dragon, Twilight Zone Old Peking, far behind the bamboo firewall. Wishing you well, Wayfarer, wherever you are, whoever you are, and whenever you may be receiving this transmission. Keep doing good magic. You know, heaven and earth are the spontaneous manifestations of the subtle, wondrous universal law. And as that original oneness expresses itself, gross and subtle energies become distinctly divided. Our bodily caves are brightly illuminated by the mysterious light from the three sources, our three Dantian, bridge points leading to immortality. The powerful spirits of the 8 directions can join our being with the true origin of life. By the absolute order of the divine Lingbao in the highest 9th heaven, send the positive energies of Qianluo, Danna, Dunkan, and Taishuan to destroy our spiritual obstacles and debilitate any evil influence. This order is given by the highest sovereignty. It is a jade oracle from the subtle origin. I invoke with strong sincerity to drive away the demons and evils and lengthen my healthy years. The attained spirits respond. The evil demon king, Mo Wang, is chained to stand as our guard and servant. The powerful atmosphere has been generated, dispersing all negativity. The Qi of Tao is everlasting. So it is commanded and confirmed. So mote it be. Amen. Yeah, good magic. At Astro Prospero, Wayfarer, Carpe Diem. Get on up and seize the day, man. I put the link in the chat Um, it's there for you if you want it, right? Join me for friendship and fellowship and discussing the ideas, just kind of continuing the stream from earlier. I had some inspirational quotes I wanted to share with you here on Quotes About the Hermetic. So let me see if I can access my desktop without causing a lot of trouble for the CPU. So I'm going to close that. That's good. This, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and close that as well. It's a little more than I need. And then let me readjust this a little bit. Let's see where that's at. Gonna have to refresh it a bit. Yeah, please bear with me. Technical difficulties. Yeah, here we go. All right, that looks good. That is perfectamundo right there, amigo. Not sure if you can see that or not. Oh, I haven't shared my screen yet. Oh, I had navigated away and thought I was sharing with you the beloved ambrosia that is worthwhile interactions and spiritual conversations. Hey, we haven't done an I and thou session in a while, and we're just about finished with that book. So maybe we need to get back into a little of Booby's book, right? Martin Buber, I and thou, dialogical. Let's see why. Why is this not loading? What's the matter with it? And why? It doesn't sound like my voice is coming through my microphone. There it is there, guys. The Labyrinth of Shattered Mirrors. The Wormhole. Okay, 72 inspirational quotes from the Hermetics. The people who know God well, i.e., the mystics, hermits, and prayerful people, those who risk everything to find God, always meet a lover, not a dictator. Very good. I saw a really wonderful one on here that I wanted to share with Chats with Jack a moment ago, but I couldn't find it again. Here's a nice one by Aristotle. Be a free thinker and don't accept everything you hear as truth. Be critical and evaluate what you believe in. Yeah, here's a great one by John Woodman. Be more concerned with your character than your reputation, because your character is what you really are, while your reputation is merely what others think you are. Absolutely good stuff. Sigmund Freud never figured out what a woman wants. Well, nobody has. I think that's a perennial existential question that we'll never be able to answer as men. Good one by Aristotle for the Aristotelians out there. Oh my God, they've got one by Bernie Sanders. How is he a hermetic? You got to question the veracity of some of these things, right? Aristotle, becoming free. There was one by Plato. Wow, here's a nice one. This is for you, Jack Talcott. There's no possession more valuable than a good and faithful friend. And I think I'm kind of turning into that for you, beloved. All right, we'll say that one's by Socrates. Let's throw it up on the screen. Kind of a delightful thing. I'm trying to be a good friend in some way. It's, it is what it is. I think first and foremost, friendship and fellowship is one of the things I've always been longing for, because I don't find it in my day-to-day life that much. Maybe I should strive a little harder with the people around me. I think so. Because there seems to be a tendency in corporate environments to maintain one's autonomy and distance from others because of the sword of Damocles. You never know how long any given situation is going to pan out. And you never know if, like, making friends with people or exposing yourself too much and keeping work and personal life separate, like if you're going to be lampooned for something as flippant as a belief, right? Which I've had happen to me in the past. And people sometimes become cynical of others and their interactions with them. So it does seem to be something to be wary of, right, Wayfarer? You probably can agree. Maybe you've had that play out in real life with you before. An off-color comment leads to an unraveling of the thing. That addresses something I've been deeply focused on recently, having listened to Untrackable speak a couple of times on Chats with Jack. And it was onerous, odious, nearly intolerable, the canter and pace at which he brought forward an idea. Someone pointed out that listening to Untrackable makes it seem like Jack Talcott's speaking at 2x. And that's certainly the truth. I mean, in all honesty, it could be likened to listening to paint dry, right? You've heard the expression watching paint dry. Well, have you ever tried listening to paint dry? Imagine a blind man, right? What a grueling endeavor. And the upshot is, why would you do that, right? Why would you do that? I don't know, just in my own humble opinion, it's like he's trying to teach 2-year-olds in a kindergarten class. But I don't know, maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm misreading it. But he seems like a very thoughtful, stoic dude. Yeah. Maybe just a little bit of difficulty at interlocution and oration. Not a masterful orator. But that is what it is. We've lauded masterful orators in the past because of their ability to bring forward the ideas and articulate the messages which we may or may not resonate with, and to move people based on logos, pathos, and ethos, the rhetorical appeals. Is it something that makes sense? And if it does make sense, is the person who's purveying the idea a credible source? And with all of that said, are we moved to passion to act on the idea? And of course, there's also Kairos and Telios that play in with that. Is it the right time for that? And does it serve the overall greater purpose that we serve, the great work in the brotherhood, the fellowship of the ring, right? The great work before all things. Completion of man by himself, mastery of his faculties and his future. According to Eliphas Levi, that was essentially the great work. All right, I just boiled some water in the electric kettle, so I've got to get over there and brew up another cup of black magic. Whilst I do that, I will let maybe the Silver Key run for a bit, since it is an audio production of my own creation based on H.P. Lovecraft. We've got that. We've got the Invocation of Tahuti. Let's go with the Invocation of Tahuti, because I do have my earphones on and I want to hear it in the background as I pour my cup of coffee. And this one runs for a little over 5 minutes, so it's just the right amount of time for me to get that coffee made before I come back up here for you, Wayfarer. Stay tuned and strap in and get ready to join the show, man. Let's make this thing happen today, okay? All right. Good magic and blessings.
The invocation of Thoth. Procul, o procul esti profani, par lasti ompeda. In the name of the mighty and terrible one, I proclaim that I have banished the shells unto their habitations. I invoke Tahuti, the Lord of wisdom and of utterance, the God that cometh forth from the veil. O thou majesty of the Godhead, wisdom-crowned Tahuti, Lord of the gates of the universe, thee I invoke. O thou of the ibis head, thee I invoke. Thou who wieldest the wand of double power, thee I invoke. Thou who bearest in thy left hand the rose and cross of light and life, thee I invoke. Thou whose head is as an emerald, and thy nemes as the night sky blue, thee I invoke. Thou whose skin is of flaming orange as though it burned in a furnace, thee I invoke. Behold, I am yesterday, today, and the brother of tomorrow. I am born again and again. Mine is the unseen force whereof the gods are sprung, which is as life unto the dwellers in the watchtowers of the universe. I am the charioteer of the east, Lord of the past and of the future. I see by mine own inward light, Lord of resurrection, who cometh forth from the dusk, and my birth is from the house of death. O ye two divine hawks upon your pinnacles, who keep watch over the universe, ye who company the bier to the house of rest, who pilot the ship of wrong, ever advancing onwards the heights of heaven, Lord of the shrine which standeth in the center of the earth. Behold, he is in me, and I in him. Mine is the radiance wherein Ptah floateth over the firmament. I travel upon high. I tread upon the firmament of new. I raise that flashing flame with the lightning of mine eye, ever rushing on in the splendor of the daily glorified Ra, giving my life to the dwellers of earth. If I say, come up upon the mountains, the celestial waters shall flow at my word. For I am Ra incarnate, Kepha, created in the flesh. I am the eidolon of my father Tamu, Lord of the city of the sun. The God who commands is in my mouth. The God of wisdom is in my heart. My tongue is the sanctuary of truth, and a guard sitteth upon my lips. My word is accomplished every day, and the desire of my heart realizes itself as that of Ptah when he createth his works. I am eternal, therefore all things are as my designs, therefore do all things obey my word. Therefore do thou come forth unto me from thine abode in the silence, unutterable wisdom, or light, or power. So, Hermes, Mercury, Odin, by whatever name I call thee, thou art still nameless to eternity. Come thou forth, I say, and aid and guard me in this work of art. Thou, star of the east, that didst conduct the Magi, thou art the same all present in heaven and in hell. Thou that vibratest between the light and the darkness, rising, descending, changing ever, yet ever the same. The sun is thy father, thy mother the moon. The wind hath borne thee in its bosom, and earth hath ever nourished the changeless godhead of thy youth. Come thou forth, I say, come thou forth, and make all spirits subject unto me, so that every spirit of the firmament and of the ether, upon the earth and under the earth, on dry land and in the water, of whirling air and of rushing fire, and every spell and scourge of God the vast one may be obedient unto me.
So it is commanded and confirmed. So mote it be. Amen. All right, welcome back, Wafer. I hope you are doing well. There it is there. So I was able to get the old cup of coffee finished in that amount of time. Here it is here. Hot cup of the old black magic. Got the tarot cards handy in case anybody needs a good reading. So let me know. Got the book of magic here with Abraxas. Abrahadabra. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law, Wayfarer. Looking for a good friend here on Fellowship with Frank. Yeah, friendship and fellowship. No more valuable possession than a good friend. And yeah, we'll just get into it. We've got a little I and Thou to read. And just hang around, do some studying. Feel free to join me, Wayfarer, if you'd like to study with me. I'll get that light figured out, and until something else comes up, Martin Buber's I and Thou. If you do stop by, hit the link, join the show. We've got Temperance, card number 14. Verification. Zodiacal alignment. Sagittarius. Using that one as a bookmark because it's a beautiful card. The Angel. We left off here on page 107 of Martin Buber's book, I and Thou. One gains power over an incubus by addressing it by its real name. Similarly, the it world that but now seemed to dwarf man's strength with its uncanny power has yet to yield to anyone who recognizes its true nature. Interesting. Very interesting for the magician to interact with the it world upon recognizing its true nature. This is good magic to move forward today. I had posed the question earlier to myself, what good can I do today? And there were a few things that I thought about, but there's one in particular I need to get done. And I need to see my will done. To be a little more outrageous sometimes. I've been contemplating this and doing this, and I've found life to be more interesting and more. Gotta do something with this hair though. More visceral and invigorating when I take those risks in pushing against my courage boundaries throughout the day and doing something a little bit outrageous. So I've been commanding myself at least once a day to just do something outrageous that's in line with my greater purpose. Obviously nothing to challenge the consent of others, but at the same time to more self-actualize. And it's been good. It's been interesting. I'm learning from it, indeed. And maybe you can find some life in that way, Farrah. Maybe you can try to do something a little more outrageous today. Yeah. It's true. The particularization and alienation of that out of whose abundance welling up close by every earthly you emerges to confront us. That which appeared to us at times as great and terrible as the mother goddess, but nevertheless always motherly. But how can we muster the strength to address the incubus by his right name, as long as a ghost lurks inside us, the I that has been robbed of its actuality? How can the buried power to relate be resurrected in a being in which a vigorous ghost appears hourly to stamp down the debris under which this power lies? How is a being to collect itself as long as the mania of his detached I-hood chases it ceaselessly around an empty circle? How is anyone to behold his freedom if caprice is his dwelling place? And there's a footnote here. I'm going to need my reading glasses for this footnote because the text is a bit smaller. Caprice 9 likens it to the German word, or the German word in its original place was Wilke. How is anyone to behold his freedom if caprice is his dwelling place? Artifice and caprice. That is going to require me to consult my dictionary, which I seldom do. I do know the word and I am familiar with it. Well, I can't say that I know it, but I do recognize it. So let's check. Merriam-Webster's dictionary. Caprice. Capriciousness, right? Caprice. A sudden impulsive, yeah, it is capriciousness. A sudden and impulsively seemingly unmotivated notion of action. Policy changes that seem to be motivated by nothing more than caprice. No response from the audio side. Caprice. Oh well. A sudden, usually unpredictable condition, change, or series of changes. The caprices of weather. And if I'm correct, the adjectival form should be capricious. And there should be another noun form of the adjective, which is capriciousness. Whimsy. Yeah, whimsy. Notion. Okay. The capriciousness of the weather. Yeah, okay. Makes sense. I was a little bit thrown off by it. It's an older way of addressing the idea. Even as freedom and fate belong together, caprice belongs with doom. But doesn't it somehow hearken to spontaneity in some way? But it says, okay, I'll have to contemplate that for a bit. But freedom and fate are promised to each other and embrace each other to constitute meaning, caprice and doom. The spook of the soul and the nightmare of the world get along with each other, living next door and avoiding each other, without connection and friction, at home in meaninglessness, until in one instance eye meets eye. Madly, and the confession erupts from both that they are unredeemed. How much intellectual eloquence and artistry is used today to prevent or at least conceal this occurrence? Free is the man that wills without caprice. He believes in the actual, which is to say, he believes in the real associations of the real duality, I and you. He believes in destiny, and also that it needs him. It does not lead him, it waits for him. Yeah, that's an interesting way to look at destiny, right? That it's waiting for you to fill that role rather than leading you toward it. Your destiny is awaiting your actualization of the thing. My destiny's been held in abeyance for some time in reference to this stage in my life right now, but I feel it unfolding. It's pushing me to act. Or at least things are now pushing me to take greater action in that direction, which just is the necessary chronological playing out of the thing. I mean, I ain't getting any younger, right? And my kids are both going off to college this year, so, and I wouldn't say going off to college. I mean, they're entering into higher levels of academia, which are requiring greater levels of finance on my part. Maybe they should go to Germany, where there is no college tuition, right? It does not lead him, it waits for him. He must proceed toward it without knowing where it waits for him. He must go forth with his whole being that he knows. It will not turn out the way his resolve intended it, but what wants to come will come only if he resolves to do that which he can will. He must sacrifice his little will, right? Yeah, this is one of the things I've been endeavoring to do this year, is to savagely uproot the pettiness within myself. And it's those smaller aspects of the self. In Chinese Taoism, they identify distinctions of people, but they clarify in the Confucian Analects. There's clarity brought to the idea, of course, playing off of Taoism. Again, the conversation is well underway at this point when Confucianism and Taoism are having their conversations. But the Genren, or true being, right, or gentleman, as they would scholars would translate it into these days, as opposed to the petty person. So someone of pettiness is crude and vile and rudimentary and unrefined, but this doesn't narrowly classify as necessarily like an elite moneyed class as opposed to a labor class, because there can be genren among the labor class just as much so as there can be in the intelligentsia, and there can be petty, and I would argue even more petty people in the upper ranks of academia and the intelligentsia, government, politics, corporate life, as there are in the plebeian class, or the serfs. So that's not the distinguishment. The distinguishment is how the individual interacts with society, at least from a Confucian perspective. The Taoists would deem an interaction with nature to be more relevant to the cultivation of your soul. But at the same time, you can abandon the world, but you do not remove yourself from the world. That's the clear distinction between Taoism and Buddhism. Buddhism is more likely to remove itself from the ordinary everyday world, considering it to be illusion, whereas the Taoist thinks this is absolutely the place we need to be to cultivate higher attributes and to have those higher attributes challenged. And there needs to be a seasonal oscillation between coming and going from the world as well. Even as freedom and fate belong together, caprice belongs with doom. Free is the man that wills without caprice. He must go forth in his whole being that he knows. He must go forth with his whole being, and he must go forth with his whole being that he knows. It will not turn out the way his resolve intended it, but what wants to come will come only if he resolves to do which that he can will. He must sacrifice his little will, which is unfree and ruled by things and drives, to his great will that moves away from being determined to find destiny. Now he no longer interferes, nor does he merely allow things to happen. There's an interesting fulcrum of non-interference, but then also ushering things into being, right? Well, how did he state it there? No longer interfering, nor does he merely allow things to happen. I think that's the whole point of Taoism, is finding that fulcrum of the push and pull of the thing. And I wanted to keep my my background poster there in the frame, but I'm out of frame because I'm leaning back reading now. So earlier I was up on the camera a little more. That hot black coffee. Do you guys drink coffee? Is there anybody out there in Happy Land that likes to have a morning cup of joe? Cup of joe. Gonna need the glasses again, Wayfarer. He listens to that which grows, to the way of being in the world, not in order to be carried along by it, but rather in order to actualize it in the manner in which needing him wants to be actualized by him, with human spirit and human deed, with human life and human death. He believes, I said, but this implies he encounters. That's kind of that one speaks to me. And what good can I do today? I think one good I can do is to highlight that bit of text and try to digest it a little more over time. Hell, the whole paragraph is worth highlighting, but I want that one snippet there. Now he no longer interferes, nor does he merely allow things to happen. He listens to that which grows, to the way of being in the world, not in order to be carried along by it, but rather in order to actualize it in the manner in which it, needing him, wants to be actualized by him, with human spirit and human deed, with human life and human death. He believes, I said, this, but this implies he encounters. It's this part here, listening to it grow. Yeah, I think that's going to be the fullness of the thing. All right. He must sacrifice his little will, the petty person within. Yeah. And which is unfree and ruled by things and drives to his great will that moves away from being determined to find destiny. And this is an interesting aspect of many people who misrepresent Thelema and talk about Crowley's message of do what thou wilt being the whole of the law. Coming into communication with your holy guardian angel and knowing one's true will is not about the little will. It's not about doing whatever you want. It's about sacrificing the little will to the greater will, to the greater purpose, and having and finding greater purpose. Which is in this commentator's mind, the great work is before all things. What we're up to here. Get the old amulets out and ready. We've got a visitor in Happy Land, guys. 423. Good to see you. Tongue-in-cheek reference possibly to our friend, the Chowdered Krusty. I think that's his name. No, I think you're referencing some other idea. Let's get a little more into it. The capricious man does not believe an encounter. He does not know association. He only knows the feverish world out there and his feverish desire to use it. We only have to give us an ancient classical name and it walks among the gods. When he says you, he means you, my ability to use. And what he calls his destiny is merely an embellishment of and a sanction for his ability to use. In truth, he has no destiny, but is merely determined by things and drives, feels autocratic, and is capricious. He has no great will and tries to pass off caprice in its place. For sacrifice, he lacks all capacity. However, much he may talk of it, and you may recognize it by noting that he never becomes concrete, he constantly interferes in order to let it happen. How, he says to you, could one fail to assist destiny? How could one not employ all feasible means required for such an end? That is also how he sees those who are free. He cannot see them differently, but the free man does not have an end here and then fetch the means from there. He has only one thing, always only his resolve. His resolve to proceed toward his destiny. Having made this resolve, he will renew it at every fork in the road. And he would sooner believe that he was not really alive than he would believe that the resolve of the great will was insufficient and required the support of means. He believes he encounters. He believes he encounters. But the unbelieving marrow of the capricious man cannot perceive anything but unbelief and caprice, positing ends and devising means. His world is devoid of sacrifice and grace, encounter and present, but shot through with ends and means. It could not be different, and its name is doom. For all his autocratic bearing, he is inextricably entangled in unreality, and he becomes aware of this whenever he recollects his own condition. Therefore, he takes pains to use the best part of his mind to prevent or at least obscure such recollection. But if this recollection of one's falling off, of the deactualized and the actual I, were permitted to reach down to the roots that man calls despair, and from which self-destruction and rebirth grow, this would be the beginning of the return. Ooh, and there's a bit of a Hindu reference coming up next, which I'll save for a later time. Yeah, good magic, Wayfarer. That took us from page 107 of Martin Buber's I and Thou to page 111. That's going to be enough study for today, man. I just thought I would tune in and say hello to everyone. Hey, Dr. D-Head's here. Good to see you, man. Good looking out. Appreciate you being out there in Happy Land. Yeah, I thought I would have a little chats with Jack after party, but we've already got an hour, and it just it didn't happen, right? So I decided to do a little reading and fellowship. I'm always open for friends and fellowship here on the Frank Monday channel, but yeah, it is what it is. Blessings. Thanks for stopping by, beloved. All in one, Dr. D-Head. I hope you guys are doing well out in Happy Land. I just started vacation, so it's early morning here. Well, it's already pushing up into 9 a.m., but I got up super early today, so I'm gonna chill, have my coffee, get in there, make some breakfast, and I'll see y'all good-looking, sexy people on the next transmission. Until then, keep doing good magic. Shabbat shalom to all my J-Dogs out there in Happy Land. Carpe diem, ad astra per aspera, and I will see you in the abodes of the future. Let's get that Frank Mundo one time on the roll out of here. That'll be good fun. And if anybody clicks the link between now and the end of the Frank Monday intro, we might have a panel chat. But yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to happen today, guys. Those old Frank Monday productions coming at ya. Another one of those old Frank Monday productions coming at ya.
Okay guys, our next comedian is a bit of a treat, to be honest. It is a bit of a treat. He's been away for 3 years. He is now back from the dead. Well, America. Give a big round of applause for Frank Monday. Did anyone want to repeat it?
Thank you, Nick. Appreciate that shit. Nick's a good man. You know what that's like, being a good man. It's tough in a fucking city like this, though. You know, nobody gives a fuck. They're like, God damn, that's some crazy shit. Motherfucker wearing high heels and shit. Looking good too, huh? Yeah, you guys like that. That's all right. It's okay to fall down occasionally. I do that sometimes. All right, being back in the G is pretty fucking nerve-wracking. You know, performing for 4 minutes straight. The only other time I get this anxious when I gotta perform for 4 minutes straight is when I gotta make love to my wife.
Onion ring. Yeah, they're all right.
Hey, be watching for the Star Wars blog Rebellion coming out in December. You'll love it. It's follow-up to the award-winning Generations. Oh yeah. There you go, Frank.
Here's my burger. Baby and you, I'll do it. I'll do. And it's just got to be that way. Well, all right. Well, okay. You win. I'm in love with you. Well, all right. Okay. You win, baby. What can I do? I'll do anything you say, 'cause it's just got to be that way. Well, all right. Yeah, you guys win. Jack Talcott stopped by. Appreciate that, man. Good looking out. Yeah, not to worry, man. I will see all of you in the abodes of the future. I got to get in there and make some breakfast. I may be off today, but I've actually got kind of a big day. I got to go by and see some people, shake some hands, right? Grease some palms, as it were. Got to keep doing good magic. And I really feel inspired and motivated to do that, having spoken with you this morning, Jack. So, yeah, we're just going to go ahead and leave it here. I wanted to have a bit of an after party, but, you know, it is what it is. We'll start doing fellowships with Frank throughout the holiday while I'm off. And until next time, Wayfarer, keep doing good magic, and I will see you at Astra per Aspera in the abodes of the future. Until next time, bye for now.